Good morning, everybody. Glenda Mollet here, and I'm in my craft room this morning, and we're going to stamp what started out to be a couple of moose cards, but now the moose punch is no longer available. So that doesn't mean you can't get the stamp set. You can still get that. You just can't get the punch anymore, which is all right because the moose isn't that hard to cut out. But you can also substitute the tree, the pine tree punch. So this is the moose punch, and this is the pine tree punch. So while you're looking at the cards, just let me refresh my computer and make sure I'm oriented properly, because last week we had such issues with the orientation. So just let me pull this up. My computer's taking its sweet time. So, oh yay, I'm oriented properly. Oh, that's awesome. Okay, let's go. So I had a customer who fell in love with the plaid designer paper, which is called Wrapped in Plaid, and the Moose bundle. So she purchased it, and she's a brand new stamper. So then she said to me, I like this, but I don't know what to do with it. So I created 2 cards using the Moose bundle, and then she came over and we stamped a bunch of cards for her. We had such a good time, but 2 days before we did that, I discovered that the Moose punch is no longer available. It's completely sold out. So this is the Moose bundle. It comes with the Moose punch and the Merry Moose stamp set. So although the punch is no longer available, you can still get the stamp set. So I thought, well, why not do a Facebook Live, and we'll just kind of go with the flow. So the first card, I'm going to try and get 2 cards in today, so I don't want to do too much nattering. Yeah, right. Okay, so morning, Yvonne. Morning, Carla. Okay, so the first one we'll make is this one. And you can cut this moose out, hand cut him out, so you don't need the punch for him. And then if we have time, we're going to do this one, but I'm going to substitute the tree punch instead of the moose punch. So I'll just put this one to the side for now, out of the way. And I have a couple of specials that I want to share with you. So the first one is I'm trying to increase my presence on Facebook. So I'd really love it if you could hit reviews while you're in my Facebook group or page, my business page, and leave a review of whether you think my services and or my website are good or bad. I don't mind criticism, a little bit of criticism. So if you leave a review between now and November the 30th, I'm going to put everybody's name into a draw, and one lucky person is going to win the Feels Like Frost 6x6 designer paper. This is the elusive paper that within a week of them getting shipments of thousands of packages, it sells out. And I think it is now on back order again, and I think this is the 5th time. And each time they've had between 5,000 and 10,000 packages come in. So I'd appreciate the review. And then on December the 1st, I will go in and write everybody's name down. And we'll draw one lucky winner to win this package of Feels Like Frost specialty designer paper. So that's one promotion I have going on. The second promotion is between now and next Wednesday, which will be Wednesday, November the 20th, anybody who puts an order in of $60 or more will receive a free package of holiday rhinestone basic jewels. Aren't these pretty? Look, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different colors. Looks like Night of Navy, maybe Pool Party, Garden Green, Cherry Cobbler, and Crushed Curry, maybe? So just place an order, an online order using my host code, Now this one is valid until the 20th. And then I'll be putting a new one up for next week. So place a $60 order online between now and next Wednesday night using this host code, and you'll get a free package of rhinestones. If you don't want to do an online order, just send me an email at gjmollet@shaw.ca. I'm happy to place the order for you. All right, let's get those off to the screen, and we'll go to the recipe for the first Merry Moose card. We're using thick whisper white wrapped in plaid, some whisper white. The ink is Memento, shaded spruce, cherry cobbler, and soft suede. And of course, Winky. Can you see Winky on the moose? Yeah, love. Hey, Melba. Okay, so these cards are relatively simple because the lady that I created them for is brand new to stamping. So I didn't want them to be too hard for her. So the first step is to put your designer paper. Now this is 5 1/4 by 4. And it's part of the wrapped in plaid designer paper. So this is what that is. Get it out of my bag here. This is the wrapped in plaid designer paper. And you get 48 sheets in here, and they're all plaid on one side. And the plaid has copper highlights. You see them? And then on the other side are some fun Christmas patterns. I know I'm going fast because I don't want to talk too much, but you needed to know that. So that's what this paper is. Wrapped in plaid. 6 by 6 specialty paper. Available in the holiday catalog until the 3rd of January or while supplies last. This is another one that's been sold out a couple of times. All right, getting our rabbit ears going here. Come on. Okay, there we go. And we'll just, first of all, make sure my card is opening properly. And we'll just center it and then pull off the liners. So there we are. First layer done. Quick and easy, just like that. Okay, so uh-oh. Apparently I'm short a piece of cardstock. I don't have that one. Oh, I remember. I had to give her an extra piece. So I'm just going to grab some white cardstock and my paper trimmer and look at my recipe and see what size I need. Whisper white is 3 7/8 by 2 1/2. Okay. New paper trimmer. Oh, I love it. I love it. I love it. It's so fun. Okay. See how big this one is. This one is 5 1/4 by 4. Oh, well, there you go. 3 7/8 by 2 1/2. So let's do the 2 1/2 first. I'm doing a Stamping 101 class at the moment, and I'm showing them how to think before you cut so that you have the parts you cut off are still usable. Okay, so there we are. We have our piece. And this is the piece that we're going to stamp our moose on. And then this one I'm going to use on the inside. Okay, so we need the tree and we need shaded spruce. And then we're going to get these pieces out of the way so they don't get stamped on. And I'm just going to pull out my scrap paper because I know I'm going to end up stamping off of the cardstock, and I don't want to get my pretty grid paper dirty. Okay, so if you notice, there is two different depths of ink on this stamped piece, and you do that by ink, stamp, stamp. So we'll put we'll put the first one here. And then without re-inking, I'm just going to lift it up and put it in the background a bit. Now there's something in the middle of my stamp. You see the little dot there? So I'm just going to use my Simply Chamois and give it a quick clean. And we'll stamp again. And then we're just going to kind of offset them a bit. I don't want them to be in a row. I want it to look like he's walking through the woods. Look, that piece is still there. Why? Wasn't on the original one. Let's flip it over and see if I can get an image without that. That's better. I don't know where that went. Okay, so now I want to put one here, but I want to put one there. And if I stamp again, you see how there's light and dark because I've used the ink on half. So I'm just going to ink it up again, stamp it off, and then do the one in the background. Oh, didn't leave enough for Merry Moose. Merry Christmas, sorry. Okay, get this out and get my... This is Cherry Cobbler. Put that out of the way. And we'll ink up Merry Christmas and put it down here in the corner. Am I doing it so that you guys can see it? There we are. Merry Christmas. Now, I need the soft suede and that piece that we're going to stamp the moose. So the moose has two parts to him. It has an outline and a solid. I'm just going to see if I can... Okay, so let's stamp the outline first, and we're stamping that full strength ink. And I'm just going to put him over to the side a bit because I want to be able to hang on to him. Okay, so there's the outline. Now, to do him, we're going to ink it up really good. You want good ink coverage. And then have a look over some white paper and just make sure you've got, it's basically all the same. And then, move the ink out of the way, stamp it off on some scrap paper because you don't want them to be too dark. And then it's really easy to line it up. I line up the antlers first and then the little wattle thing on his neck and push down slowly to make sure you got it in the right spot. And then just rub your finger over the top of it to transfer whatever ink is left. And then you have, he's nice and light. Okay, I'm going to close this. And find the moose punch. Now we're going to punch him out. So now you could hand cut this too. Yeah, I made it. I made the paper too small, but that's okay. I can show you the trick I use. So just grab a scrap of some kind of paper out of your garbage, and we'll make it. This is called an extender. When you haven't left your paper long enough to hang on while you're trying to get your image lined up with your punch, just take some double-sided adhesive and put this on there like that. So now you have a handle. Ha-ha! I like going away to Stampin' Up! Conventions because that's where I get my aha moments. Okay, so now I'm taking my time to line him up because I want there to be an even frame all the way around him, and it was easy because of the extender that I made. Oops, that back leg needs to move over a bit. Take your time when you do this. Don't rush it. There we go. So there's our punched moose, and now this is still scrap, so you can do what you want with it. And I'm done the stamping, so I'm just going to get rid of that ugly paper. slide it under here and get my Wink of Stella. Where did I, oh, there it is. Wink of Stella, because I want him to be sparkly, and I'm just giving it a good shake. And when you go over top of him, it kind of blends the ink a bit, because the ink is water-based and Wink of Stella is water-based. So when you go over top of him, it kind of smooths things out a bit. See the difference? When you're using watercolor pencils, which you can color the mousse with watercolor pencils too if you want, you can also use Wink of Stella instead of a paintbrush with water on it. And not only do you get a nice smoothed out image with no lines, but it has bling too. Okay, there's our mousse. So we've got everything done, except for the inside, but we'll stamp that in a minute. So what I did was I put the mousse down flat because I didn't want to take the time to put dimensionals on his feet, and I knew that could be frustrating for new stampers. So I'm just going to use some Tombow, little dots of Tombow on his feet and around the outside just to make him stick. Okay, now I'm going to set that off to the side because I want to let that Tombow dry a bit, and we'll put dimensionals on the back of this piece. And remember, you don't want it to collapse in the middle, so make sure you have sufficient dimensionals on there. I prefer the mini dimensionals, but when you're doing such a big area like this, you can also use the big ones. Oops, and I missed one on that. One, not two. Okay, so this is ready to put on. Now I did see something on one of the other demonstrators' sites one day about how to easily get those liners off the back, especially for people who have acrylic or gel nails, because sometimes you can't do fine stuff like that. So if you just take your paper piercer and just pierce the liner and then pull it up like that. Isn't that cool? Oops. I don't have a lot of practice on this because I don't have to do that with my nails. So once you become proficient at it, it'll take no time at all to whip all those nasty little liners up, and then they're all contained together, so you just grab them and put them in the garbage. Okay, card opening proper way. This one I kind of offset it a bit, so this one I'll put hopefully smack dab in the middle if it works. Sure, that looks good. Okay, so there's the front. Now the mousse is still drying, so I'm going to stamp the inside and the envelope. So here's the inside, and I'll get another piece of designer paper to punch out another mousse. So let's do that part. First of all, we get the soft suede back again, and the raccoon. That cute little raccoon. I think he needs to go everywhere. He's just so adorable. Okay, do that. Now we'll get Cherry Cobbler for the sentiment, and I've got them both on the same block. And I apologize, my blocks are disgustingly dirty. I think I should take the time to clean them all. But not this weekend, because I'm off to Edmonton this afternoon for our On Stage, which is a convention. And I'm going to spend the whole weekend with nothing but stamping up demonstrators. And we're going to be stamping, and we're going to be having a lot of fun. And we get free stuff. And I get the new spring catalog too. So I'm so excited. I was up so early this morning. It's like my body was going, okay, get up. Time to finish packing. Let's go. We're heading out. So I am. Which is funny because yesterday on my Facebook feed, the exact same thing came up from 4 years ago. Or we were heading to Edmonton and I was up at some ungodly hour of the morning. Oh, Valerie, we will have fun. And Carla, I wish you were coming too. We will miss you, but we'll see you on Monday at our team meeting because I'll have the catalog then. So I'm just attaching this leftover piece of designer paper from when I cut the front piece to size. There was an edge cut off here, so I just use it on the inside of the card. Okay, so now the envelope, and I put both of the little dudes on the envelope. So first of all, we'll do the outline of the moose. I know he's in black on there, but I'm going to do him in brown. Brown. Sorry, soft suede. Okay, where did I put? Ooh, uh-oh, I lost him. How can I lose him? It's because I don't pay attention to where I put things down. There he is. His little sidekick, the raccoon. Now, the one thing that we had fun doing the other night was adding a Santa hat. See, there's a little tiny Santa hat and it fits on top of the moose. So how about if we put a Santa hat on him? Just remove that for a sec. Get it on here properly. So it's going to fit right in there between his antlers. How fun is that going? Oh, you're welcome, Valerie. Thank you for the order. Okay, so just trying to get it down on top of his head. I don't want it to be a flying hat. There we are. Isn't that cute? I love this. And I wasn't going to get this stamp set. I thought, no, I don't need that stamp set. Oh, foolish, foolish person. I'm glad I got it. And I'm glad I got the punch. Okay, I'm just putting my other stamp back on there. All right, so there's the envelope done. There's the inside done. So now we'll attach it to the inside of the card, and then my moose is just about ready to put on the front. And then we'll go on to the other one. The other one's not quite as hard, but that's the one we're going to kind of play by ear, and we're going to use the pine tree punch instead of the moose punch. So both of these cards are GMO. Now GMO stands for Glenda Mollet Original. I do a lot of casing from Pinterest and the internet, but sometimes things come to me. I'm not very artistic, but I am crafty, which is why I can case other people's cards. But sometimes I just use them for inspiration, for like a layout or a color combination, and then I make it my own. And that's what this one, I don't think it was even inspired by something. Okay, so now we've got to pick the moose up. His little dots are just about clear now. We're going to put him right there. There we are. So there's that one. Now, we'll put that over here. That was card number 1, and we'll get card number 2. So this is the second card I thought we'd do this morning. There's a couple of retired stuff on here. There's the moose punch, so we're going to use the tree punch instead. And then there's also the copper Delicata inks, and that's not available anymore either. I think the silver one is, but not the copper one. So I'm going to change the colors up a bit. So I'll just Oh, the recipe. Here's the recipe while I'm getting the pieces out. Cherry cobbler, early espresso, and copper is what I used, but I'm going to use cherry cobbler, early espresso, and shaded spruce. And we'll just change the front up a bit. All right. Oh, the inside. I didn't show you the inside. There's the inside. Don't forget my specials. Place an order between now and next Wednesday night. Between any order over $60 will receive a free package of holiday rhinestones. Ooh, love bling. Okay, so this goes on here. When I cut a piece of designer paper or cardstock that I want to go from edge to edge, I always cut it too big, because then you can cut it off and you won't cut it off even with the edge of the cardstock, and you won't have a little white edge showing. I hate those little white edges. So this kind of helps you get rid of that. All right. So this one, I'm just going to pull this up because it's a bit too long and I want to fold it back. See if I can get it up. Just the liner. There we are. See, I'd made it too big, so I'm just going to fold it back. There we are. And this one, I made it too long and it's going over top of this one, and it's not going to stick until I lift up that liner. There we go. And then it sticks up too much, but that's okay, because we know how to fix that. We'll just start our rabbit ear and fold that over top. Sometimes I get a little carried away in my adhesives, but that's okay. And I left it, didn't go right to the very edge, because remember, we're going to be pulling this one off, or cutting it off. So we'll just use my grid paper. Don't like that side of the card. We'll just flip that over. And I'm going to use my grid paper to make sure I'm lining this up straight. So see what I'm doing? I'm lining the edge of the card up with the grid paper. That's why you should always stamp on grid paper. And then put it here and figure out where you want it. So I'm going to line it up with that line on that side, and then you can line it up with that line on the other side. And as long as your card base is straight, which I just moved it, so now I have to replace it. So as long as you've got your cardstock lined up straight on the grid, by doing this, you know your next layer is going to be, it keeps moving because of the liner. You know that the next one is going to be perfectly lined up, just like that. Now, I do have an issue because I lost the liner from this side. Every time I do this online live, I lose a liner. It's okay. We have the technology to fix that. And I'm hoping to get this uploaded to YouTube and the last 2 weeks, because I haven't done them yet. Don't know whether it's going to happen today, because I'm not packed and ready to go yet, and I need to do that. Okay, so then you flip it over and just cut off this extra little bit here. And it's really easy to cut off. It's a little more difficult because I have adhesive there, but that's okay. It's easy, and if you flip it over, then you can follow the edge of your cardstock when you're cutting. There we go. Now you don't have any white showing on the edges of that. Let go of my fingers. Okay, so now this is the piece that goes in here. And what I should have done before I attached this was punch my tree out. Yeah, completely forgot. But that's okay. I have spare. So let's have a look in here in my spares and see if I have a piece of that designer paper. These are the 2-inch ends that I cut off from other projects. So let's just see. Not that one. Oops. These are upside down. Those are all green. There it is. There's a piece. And I want it to match. I don't know why, but I do. Because matching is important. My OCD doesn't let me not match. So now we're going to take the tree. And this one isn't bad because the copper lines are square, but some of them, the lines are oblong. I'll show you this piece. You can see what I mean. Nope. Oh, that's a little piece of the same one. We can use that for the tree instead of that big one. So some of the pieces are oblong in shape. Where the copper parts are, there's one. So you want to make sure when you're punching that you have the grain going the right way. But this one, it doesn't matter because it's a square. So I can't punch it this way because it's not wide enough, but I can punch it this way. Except I need my extender again. Oh, where are you? Apparently I can't find it, but that's okay. I have lots of scraps in my garbage. I'm just going to make another extender. Now we'll just pop that in there. There we are. Now you could use this side too. You could. Okay, first of all, let's stamp Merry Christmas in shaded spruce. Now this Merry Christmas comes from the Perfectly Plaid stamp set, which is in the same suite as the Wrapped in Plaid designer paper and the Pine Tree Punch. So you could order this suite and get in on my special of a free package of holiday rhinestones. I bet you thought I'd forgotten, or maybe wished I'd forgotten. Okay, let's move it down a bit. There we go. That's where it is. So there we have our Merry Christmas in shaded spruce. And I'm going to find Cherry Cobbler, because we're going to do the dots in Cherry Cobbler. Now take my tree, and I want to put it on here. Oh, you know what we should do? That would be cool. I just had a brainwave. I know it's not really a brainwave, but yeah, we can totally do it. Okay, so I'm going to put the tree on where I want it to be, and then we'll mark the top, and we'll mark the trunk. And instead of adding a tree to the top and using more designer paper, we can punch the tree out. And then when we put it on top, look, yay! So that means out of one 6x6 piece of cardstock or designer paper, you can now get 2 complete cards. Pardon me, one moment. I got to take a drink. Okay, so get rid of my pencil marks. We have our tree. Now we can do our dots. And you can put them in behind the words. You don't have to put them away from the words. Let's do another one over there. And they're not really dots, they're circles, which I think is really sweet. Okay, so now, see? Look at that. I'm excited. Okay, it doesn't take much apparently. So when you're putting your dimensionals on here though, you want to make sure you give good support for around the tree. I don't mean to keep saying fur. because it's not fur, it's four. So our local Legion had a Remembrance Day coloring contest, and one of the local grandchildren submitted a poster, and it's now in the pile of finalists. So excited for him. Okay, so that's up on dimensionals, and we'll just take the liners off. This is the time-consuming part. But if you don't put all these dimensionals on here, then you have a saggy piece. And I don't like saggy pieces. Like, I don't like cards that fall apart either. So the most important thing, I think, for a card is proper adhesive. Because you don't want your card to fall apart. Now I'm just lining this up in the center-ish. There we go. See? You can't even tell that we're making a moose card, because we're not. But when we open it up, there's the moose. And the moose stamp set is still available. Okay. Now, I have to grab my Simply Chamois because I used a different color on my moose for the last card, and I want to use early espresso for the moose this time. Just going to ink him up and stamp him there. And we'll say goodbye to that. And then we'll get my cherry cobbler and the sentiment for the inside, which also comes from Perfectly Plaid. And we'll ink it up in early espresso because we used shaded spruce for the one on the front, and I want this to be a little bit different. There we go. Now we'll get shaded spruce back, and I'm going to clean my dots or my circles because I'm going to do them in green on the inside. Yeah, I know, Val. We're so excited for him. And of course, he's excited and can't wait to hear the final results. I have no idea when they're going to be announcing the final results, but probably when I'm not home, because it's okay. That's what Facebook is for. Okay, I'm not randomizing. See, this is me. This is OCD to the max. I can't randomly stamp anything. But I think he needs another one right there. There we are. Okay, close that and get a sponge because I'm going to sponge around the edge with cherry cobbler. So we could have used one of the trees too on the inside, but I didn't think of it until just now, so we didn't. Just a quick sponge. Now when you're doing this, hold on to your paper firmly, have your fingers splayed out like that so you get a good firm hold on the paper, and just straight up and down like this. So the further this way you go, the more ink you get, and the straighter up and down you go, the less ink. And there's no right way or wrong way. It's whatever looks good to you. It's your card. When I do classes, I always tell my ladies, I provide the supplies, and what you do with them is completely up to you. I encourage creativity. It's a lot of fun. Sometimes they want to change colors. Takes me a little bit longer to accept that because for the first few years of doing this, I felt they had to do it exactly the way I do it, or it was because they didn't like my card. But now I realize that that's not the case. It's just that they're creative too, and they have their own way of doing things and their own thoughts. So Have at her. Be creative. Have fun. Okay, so the inside is now done. And then we're going to put it in here. Not too bad. Only been like under 45 minutes, so we've got 2 cards done. These are the kind of cards that you could make a whole bunch out of. Ugh. The rabbit ear wasn't working properly. Cooperating, that's the word I wanted. Okay, there we are. We're done. Oh, it didn't stamp the envelope. I guess I'm not done. Where did I put early espresso? And the mousse outline. Ooh, I don't know where that hair came from because I don't have long hair like that. There we are. Oh, Val, you know me so well. All right, here we are. So we've done 4 cards today and given you ideas of how to use the mousse stamp set without the punch, because it's easy to die cut that. There's not too many dippity-doos in his antlers. And how to use the pine tree punch instead of the moose punch. So what do you think? Did it work for you? It's working for me. I might just have to make some more of these. I have a lot of the plaid designer paper because it's so cute. I kind of hoarded it a bit. So don't forget my specials. Now let me show you in the catalog, if you want to have a look at the holiday rhinestones. They're kind of hard to find because there's not a very big picture. So page 58, holiday rhinestones. Cherry cobbler, coastal cabana, night of navy, pumpkin pie, and shaded spruce. That's the colors. And let's just have a look real quick at the perfectly plaid bundle is page 13. Did you know there's a bundle index at the front of this catalog? Look at that. You can find any bundle you want quickly. So here's the perfectly plaid suite. So it includes the stamp set and the punch and the wrapped in plaid. And then there's this gorgeous shaded spruce and gold ribbon. And I just have to have a piece of it here. Look at this. Look at the bling in that ribbon. And jingle bells and the gold mini pizza boxes. But you don't have to buy the whole suite. You can buy just the designer paper and the stamp set and punch in a bundle. So the stamp set and punch in a bundle is $41.25. You add the wrapped in plaid designer paper, $61.25. Cha-ching! You just earned yourself a free package of holiday rhinestones. Now the moose, I think he's a little bit further in here. Yeah, I know. Why don't I look in the index to find him? I don't know. Let's have a look. Merry Moose, where are you? There he is, page 27. So there's the stamp set. It's $22. This is the punch. It's no longer available. So $61.25 plus another $22 is $83.25, and you plus some Whisper White cardstock, and you're done. You've got enough paper probably to make, there's 48 sheets of paper in there, so you could probably make, I would say, over 50 Christmas cards in a very short period of time with Whisper White cardstock, wrapped in plaid designer paper, the perfectly plaid bundle of the stamp set and the punch, and the Merry Moose stamp set. So there you go. I hope you have a wonderful day, and I am so happy that you were able to join me in my craft room today. And if you're catching this on the replay, thanks for taking the time to search it out. I appreciate you spending time with me today. And I'll see you next Thursday. I might have some information about the new catalog. Thanks so much for joining me. Bye for now.